Australia is a multicultural and majority migrant nation. This week we meet Sanji Caldera, an eminent personality in the field of migration, who is the principal migration consultant of Sanji Caldera Associates. He has over 20 years' experience in the field, and today he gives us a behind-the-scenes look at his role in migration consultancy. Hello, Sanji. It's good to have you in the studio with us today.
It's good to be talking to you today, Noeline.
Yes, I'd like to welcome you to the program. As we said, I told the viewers that we will have a behind-the-scenes chat. And you have over 20 years experience in the field of migration, over 20 years. So I'd like to first ask you how you embarked on your profession.
Interesting question. 20 years seems to be a long time, isn't it, Noeline? But have enjoyed every bit of it. I, by profession, am an accountant, and my earlier years was working in various fields in finance. But when I came to Australia, I realized that there was where I helped a lot of people with their migration forms, or whether it was insurance or whether it was accounting. And I got a special interest in assisting people very informally with their migration applications. And that prompted me to study migration law going back almost 20 years ago.
You studied migration law. You have to, in fact. Isn't that
That's
right?
correct. You need to study migration law, and in order to practice as a migration consultant in Australia, one needs to have what we call a MARA license that is endorsed by the department, and that's something that you have to renew every year with suitable CPD hours and so forth.
Well, I believe you commenced your business in a small way, as you said. And how did it evolve into a professional migration service? I know that you are now operating in Dubai and in Sri Lanka, of course.
Yes, Noeline, it was in fact a part-time role as an accountant working in the public sector. I started, filling up some forms and doing working part-time. But I believe it was the work I did, or the quality of the work I did. I had more and more people reaching out to me. And then a few years later, I decided to embark on migration on a full-time basis. And I found it an enjoyable profession, as I said, opposed to being an accountant.
Yes. Now, you said that you started it in a small way, of course, but now I mentioned that you began, evolved with the business in Dubai and in Sri Lanka. Which country did you start off with?
I actually started in Australia, and I had my first staff member assisting me, and she at the moment is our general manager after being with me for 17 years. And then I started, obviously my clientele was Sri Lankan, and I started my office in Sri Lanka, and had more and more staff being really trained to work in the field of migration. And it was also a dream that I wanted to start work in Dubai, which is such a vibrant place, as you would know, and with again a very large Sri Lankan community who wants to take the second step from Dubai to Australia. So that's how I evolved these offices globally.
So your clients are mainly Sri Lankan?
Yes, they are mainly Sri Lankan, but I do advise people of all nationalities and from all countries, but the majority are Sri Lankans.
In addition to your professional commitments, you are also recognized as a philanthropist and a benefactor, and you help people mainly in Sri Lanka, of course, because it's the country of your birth. How did that come about?
Noeline, I as a migrant in Australia, I'm a migrant myself, 35 years ago. When I started this work, I realized that that I had to put back something back to Sri Lanka. I had free education and the foundations that were laid going into a public school. And whatever I have achieved in Australia is due to those solid foundations that was laid for me, the values, the honesty that was taught in Sri Lanka. So, and also understanding that the education system in Sri Lanka is so good, it is very highly recognized in Australia, and it was time that I put some effort to the education systems to make it in communities which are really underprivileged. And I have selected Kataragama, and all my activities are sort of concentrated in that area.
How did you begin your work in Kataragama?
I started in a very small way. Simply, there were students who could not go to school because there was no public transport. It was such a small beginning, organizing a van to go picking up these children and taking them to school. Then I started having what we call extra lessons, getting good teachers to give them, we call it tuition, but they couldn't afford to have tuition. So I paid for the teachers, and it evolved from one subject to the second, the third. Now it's a very involved operation, and I'm working with the Kataragama Mahavidyalaya, and this is one of in Sri Lanka where the education department has given me the opportunity to use their facilities to run this school in their premises, specifically on Saturdays.
Other than teaching, what about technology? For example, do they have computers? And
because of the fact that I'm using the facilities of the Kataragama Mahavidyalaya, which is a 1,000-student school I have given back quite a bit by building classrooms, building their library, and at any given opportunity getting the laptops and computers from Australia across to Kataragama where they could make use of. So that is the main area. But what we do have is the scholarship, from the scholarship exam right up to O levels. We teach almost about 8 subjects. They're all free of charge. We now have about 350 students. They come early morning on a Saturday, and they will take 2-hour classes right throughout the day.
Oh, that's wonderful, and that's very commendable. Now, I know that you do a lot of work in Sri Lanka, not only your charity work, but your business is conducted in Sri Lanka mainly, and of course in Dubai, as you said. Now, do you have any plans to visit Sri Lanka soon? Because I'm sure you visit Sri Lanka very often to, to further your business and to keep in touch with your clients. Are you planning to visit Sri Lanka soon?
Yes, I will be certainly there end of February and the beginning of March. We will be participating in a migration exhibition, which is going to be held on the 28th of February at Havelock City Mall with many other migration agents. So, and then I will be there for face-to-face consultations the week after. Anybody is sort of welcome to come and have a chat with myself or my team, and they also, many of the staff are coming from Australia to join the exhibition.
Okay. Now, getting back to your work as the principal migration consultant of Sanji Caldera Associates, how do you provide personalized pathways to your clients? Now, you'll be going to Sri Lanka as well, and you'll be meeting prospective clients. How do you provide personalized pathways to them?
One of the things, Noeline, that we believe is in our human resources capital. Our staff at various levels, their managers, senior relationship managers, they are trained very well, and we have a very strict quality control mechanism in our organization, and they have the privilege of having a dedicated relationship manager with always having access to my advice. And nowadays things have changed so much. Not one application is the same to the other application. So it is tailored solutions, robust, sustainable tailored solutions that we provide in our organization from whichever country, whether it's from Australia and offices, or Dubai, or from Sri Lanka.
Do your clients have the opportunity of meeting you in person?
Absolutely. They have the opportunity of meeting me in person and having that initial consultation, and then giving them a solution. But they also have the luxury of working with a dedicated relationship manager who will manage their case right through.
Now, as head of your organization, I'm sure that you maintain relations with your clients, as you were saying. They may perhaps sometimes face challenges in trying to obtain their visas. Do you have any human stories to tell me about their,
Yes, look,
their challenges?
There are many challenges, and specifically when it comes to the business migration program, which was there for a long time, where I was an accountant. So that was a very challenging program. But I will take a simple example. When it comes to partner visas, and specifically offshore, this application can take up to 2 years. And then you're suddenly confronted with the situation of the pressures and the issues that that manifest from long distance relationships. So you got your partner in Sri Lanka, it's taking 2 years for her or him to come over here.
Yeah.
And I have at many times been a marriage counselor too, saying...
and I suppose they come to Sri Lanka and get married, and then they have no way of bringing their partner back here.
That is correct. And also the other challenges are such as what I was mentioning today, is that when the visas are refused, when their nominations are refused, giving them the assurance of taking their cases up to the Administrative Review Tribunal and representing them in order to get a good outcome.
What about, parents? When parents come over here, it takes a long time for them to be accepted here and for them to obtain their visas. Is that right?
Yes, and for that, it could now take up to 7 to 8 years. But then we have solutions for that. If you are age 67 years or more, you could lodge an onshore application which will allow you to remain in Australia with work rights. Or if they are under 67 and they have been parents, then there is also provision for till such time their permanent resident visa comes through. They are given other sponsored visas, which at 5 years at a time that they could spend with their children until such time their permanent visa comes through.
But if they do apply for a visa onshore, they are allowed to stay here on that the first visa that they get, not the permanent residence visa. But they don't get any facilities like Medicare and things like that.
You're right. As we know, Australia has an aging population, so they're very cautious about the quotas, and that's why it is taking so long to get a parent's visa through. But the good thing is onshore visas will allow them to remain in Australia, being together with their families. So they are qualitative factors as well as work rights. It's only that they don't allow Medicare facilities until such time you get your visa.
Now, how do you handle difficult cases? I'm sure you must be having quite a few challenges where parents or people who want the visas here, they have to wait in a queue for a long time. How do you handle that? They must be complaining to you?
That's correct. And not only parent visas, even general skill migration, they need to sometimes wait for many years before they get an invitation. And there are sometimes instances that their visas can get refused for maybe incorrect decisions from the department. I actually sympathize with them. As a migrant, if I don't understand their feelings, their pain, then I'm not a successful migration consultant. So I sometimes share my own setbacks in my when I pursued my migration dreams, I had many setbacks, and I do share and give them that assurance that if you are doing the right thing, if you're rightly skilled, then Australia will open their doors for you.
Well, Australia does keep changing their migration laws quite constantly. How do you tackle that kind of thing? And how do you stay updated?
Yes, look, we have a lot of things to be updated. We have our CPD sessions. We have the Migration Institute of Australia, which I'm a member. We get updates. It is not, Noeline, that it is not major changes, but changes in the right direction to see the country's economy. So I feel that the laws are reasonable. It does take, of course, some time, but you need to work through and you need to be updated. And most important thing is to have those networks with your brethren of migration agents, because there's so much we don't know that we don't know, really. Yes.
Yes. So you have to really keep in touch all the time.
That's correct. And there are times that we do network with senior migration consultants to find certain solutions.
Do they have any new changes very recently?
No, there aren't any changes, but of course, one of the things that they do want to this country is skilled migrants who will come, work hard, pay their taxes, and build the nation. There is a lot of anti-migration sentiments around, but the programs, the country's migration programs are quite alive and running. There is no pausing of that.
As a professional in the field of migration, what is your philosophy?
Look, my philosophy is that, as we know, many years ago, the Western countries, specifically Australia, Canada, USA, and also England, our perception of the type of people who live there, that has changed quite a lot, and it is what we call a melting pot with many communities, and hopefully living in harmony to bring value added to the country, whether it is Australia, whether it is Canada or New Zealand. These are the three countries I'm specifically mentioning, which have some very good migration programs.
Right. Thank you, Sanji. But before you leave, I have one final question. What is the message you would like to leave with your new migrants, particularly about hope and determination?
It is a dream. It is a dream from certain countries, from the developing countries, to come and live in Australia. I believe this country gives great opportunities. It's a country that has embraced many nationalities, but of course you need to comply with the laws of the country. It allows you to practice your religion, your cultures. You will never feel different, but it's extremely important to value Australian beliefs and Australian law. And if you do work hard, qualify yourself if you are a skilled migrant, and of course your English, because it's an English-speaking country, and have got good work experience, and if you can bring those skill set to Australia, well, it's a great country which has plenty of opportunities.
I think a very positive part where Sri Lankans are concerned is they are recognized as good workers here.
Absolutely, Noeline. I had that discussion with you. We are much loved. I think we found our identity through cricket, and we are absolutely loved. And true to say that Sri Lankan, our countrymen, are coming here and working very hard, and they have created their own identity.
Yes. So thank you, Sanji, for being here in the studio with me today and giving us a seldom seen behind the scenes interview about your work and your work as the head of the Sanji Caldera Associates.
Thank you for the opportunity, Noeline. It has been great talking and talking about my beliefs and my experience in the last 20 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.